handsome 소세지.
Yes, we're back with Xdinary Heroes. Always a good time when it's Xdinary Heroes. So we're going to be checking out the very last well, it's not the last track of the album. For us, it's the last track, Supernatural. Every single song was incredible.
Yeah,
it was
so
all
good.
connected thematically,
crazy.
narratively.
Yeah.
Probably one of the most interesting stories that
True.
we've seen from Xdinary Heroes.
And not just Xdinary Heroes, like in general for recent times. Yeah.
Very balanced. Everything was perfect. But we've more or less heard a very similar sound. And from the title, it sounds like Supernatural is going to be another banger of a song. It's going to be very...
probably strong and...
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. I mean, we never know. But let's see what this one is like and talk about the music, maybe the lyrics if applicable. Let's get to it, man.
All right. 3, 2, 1, click. Wow. It's very different. Or are they gonna switch later? But I don't feel like. Very ballady.
It's very interesting.
Ooh.
It's got a nylon guitar-like sound.
And the piano
But the
tone
voicing is very much a piano voicing.
Wait, are they switching up the sound or? Wow.
And listen to the bass this time.
Oh, it's interesting bass. Wet.
Oh, yes!
Harmonies. This top line is very Juyeon-like. Yes, Jungsu, throw that shade.
Finally.
Whoa, interesting drum. The drum sounds like a VST though.
Maybe it's just
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a real drum.
or maybe it's like really heavily EQ'd.
Wow.
How cool is it that the very last track we check out is the one that is different?
Bridge? Okay, yes.
Holy shit, but it's the outro.
Is it?
They're not going for a bridge. It's the outro.
Wow, interesting.
Amazing.
So they just lengthened the chorus part at the end.
Amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, they just basically went straight to the outro.
Yeah.
Wow.
And this felt shorter. It felt like, I don't know, 255 or something.
Yeah. Well, that's very specific. But yeah, it did feel shorter than what it actually is.
Yeah. It sounded very different.
I'm so happy though.
Yeah.
Because I was waiting for this kind of sound, at least one track, and I felt like every track is very much. It's got
fast
that
forward, like it's moment.
So this is a happy surprise, especially because it was called Supernatural. So at first I was like, oh, are they going for like the crazy?
Yeah.
Heroes rap
Especially
sound?
like because it's Xdinary Heroes.
Wow. Okay, well, there are multiple reasons why I personally like this one, but we definitely have to start with the music. And before we get to the general sound, we have to talk about what they did at the start of the song. The first couple chords that are played by the keyboard is what I'm assuming, followed by the bass sound. There's some interesting twists in there that I want to sort of explore. When you first hear the chords, I don't know how you felt, but it almost has this like similar texture as a nylon guitar, like a classical guitar, or maybe like a very soft steel acoustic guitar sound to it. It almost sounds like they're strumming the chords. But the voicing is very much a piano-based sound, and I'm sure it's played on the keyboard by Jungsu or something. And then the bass comes in, and what's interesting is the bass clearly sounds like, okay, well, it's like one of those like pad synth sounds, but it's got a slide effect. So this one sounds like it's being played on the keyboard, but the characteristic is closer to the actual bass guitar because they keep sliding the notes. I'm sure it's also played on the keyboard, but I thought it's interesting how they mix like guitar property and the keyboard property to confuse the listener's mind that way.
Well, to me, it was pretty clear that it was like piano, but just the tone is very interesting. But I really get what you are saying for the nylon part, because also on top of it, they actually played the guitar, a strum on top of it, very small. And then the bass that you mentioned, when it just comes, they completely change the mood right away, so that it involves synth with very open reverby guitar on top of it too. And that second verse where there's only like that piano and a little bit of the patty thing at the back with the drum in front, really clever. That I personally think that that's not the actual drum that's playing at the back. So they kind of switched the drum tone so that it doesn't feel very like lively.
Because I don't know about drum mixing. Is it possible that they just use the actual drum and then EQ the shit out of it to make it seem artificial?
It's possible, but the tone that I listened for the kick and snare, it definitely sounded like a sample.
Right. Okay.
So like it's never that the real snare type of texture that I
guess unless they made the sample. Although obviously when they're playing it live, Gunny will be playing the drum.
Oh yeah, for sure.
For the official track, it's very likely
sounded
that
like
this is...
because when you get to the chorus part, it sounds different.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, so that was one of the interesting parts, because that's one of the features that I actually liked from Day 6 as well, because they merged actual band sound with electronica sounds together. What Xdinary Heroes did was kind of same thing, but in a different path. They're unique, Xdinary Heroes.
Apart from the sounds, which is, from our discussion, it sounds like they're very meticulously planned and structured. The structure itself of the song was also pretty interesting, but we've sort of gone through that. It's very clear: verse, pre-chorus, chorus, verse, pre-chorus, chorus. It's basically it, with an outro, no bridge, simple. And when you take that out of the picture, the only thing that remains is the lyrics. For the most part, the lyrics video is fine because the way they sort of phrase the Korean sentences are very simple intentionally, so it's easier to translate without an error. But there was one part specifically in the pre-chorus where they say, "The day that flowed through that gap, I am now facing it." That part I do question, because while it is a correct translation and it very much could have been the intended word, the day should be, I think, I, like myself. It says 날, and 날 is day, but 나를 is I. So that's something you can kind of think about depending on how you interpret the lyrics. I think one or the other would make more sense. And this is very much a genre that I used to kind of work with when I was doing music. So it felt even more special to hearing this from Xdinary Heroes. And I know they had like a mellower, softer songs, but this is very specific, very close to what I used to do, like the closest, I think. So yeah, I liked it even better.
And Xdinary Heroes, they definitely need to have these type of music in order to like have that flow during the concert and everything. They could do this, they could do everything. So it's really setting the mood.
And everybody listen, this basically wraps up Beautiful Mind. Amazing album.
Crazy album.
I mean, we could eventually just kind of visit the songs in order this time, because we did go out of order. But before that, like we promised, we have to check out their Immortal Songs Forbidden Love.
Oh, yeah.
And we mentioned it last time, and everybody in the comments were like, you have to do it. So after this, that's what you're gonna see when another Xdinary Heroes video drops. So stay tuned for that. But after that, right, if you have any ideas, right, more Immortal Songs, maybe more covers that we haven't checked out, or we could revisit the album, or go back to troubleshooting album. It's really up to you. So comment in this video what you want to see after Immortal Songs video, and then we'll try to follow your guide, your lead. So let us know, and we'll see you in the next one, everybody.
Bye.
Amare.
Lucky Saw.
Caffeinated with 2 cats.
Bolin Sanu.
Tilly.
Babu Wanu.
Rory.
Yun U.
Alphabet A.
Amy.
Margarita. Santiago.
Mayake.
Furby.
Gatsby.
Jason Brown.
Sarachi를 삼.
Sino Finden.
Yesy.
Annie.
Gian Rosio.